Hi everyone, I hope you're good and the running is going well. Last week I received my pair of the Adidas Adizero Boston 10, so I thought I'd do a quick video going through my first impressions and the new technologies. It's been massively updated kind of from the Boston 9 to here, so yeah, wanted to share my kind of first thoughts and where it now sits in the Adizero range in comparison to shoes like the Adios 6, Adios Pro 2 and Prime X. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So in terms of the upper, it's got Celamesh 2.0, so kind of a relatively synthetic kind of top layer with kind of suede overlays to kind of give you that nice structure in the toe box. It's basically got a fit system, so rather than a gusseted tongue like a lot of the other kind of Adizero shoes have, this is sort of similar, but it's almost like the second layer of the upper is sort of built in to the tongue. So it's going to be hard to show you exactly what I mean there, but like I say, it fits really nicely over the foot, and rather than it being like an independent tongue, it kind of just really locks your midfoot in really well. So kind of a new sort of fit system, but found it super comfortable. It's a little bit of a softer kind of layer, that one that's directly on top of your foot, and then the kind of slightly more synthetic layer above that, like I say, is quite similar to kind of the Celamesh or sort of monomesh if you've had like the 4D run or shoes like the SL20 in the past. So yeah, that seems to be kind of really comfortable, allows for a kind of really nice fit. And then like I say, you've obviously got those overlays kind of near the eyelets, and some extra kind of reinforcements to again give you a nice lockdown, which is really good. In terms of the heel counter, again, nice and solid structure in the heel, similar to kind of the Adios 6, and a really good amount of padding in the heel, which is really good because I see this shoe as a really kind of heavy mileage shoe, a shoe that you can do a lot of steady kind of long runs in, kind of cruising around in it really. In terms of the tongue, there's a nice little bit of padding, especially up near the top where you've got the Adidas logo, so when you are kind of lacing, you can't really feel any like pressure from when you kind of tie them up, relatively secure. Overall, really impressed with the upper, straight out the box, super comfortable. When I'm running in them, doesn't really feel like there's anything there. Super soft in the heel, and then that kind of 2-layer upper just feels super comfortable, so really good. In terms of like the real big update, I guess the midsole materials is kind of where it's at. Obviously that's what you're riding on. So rather than kind of boost and light strike that we had in the Boston 9 and previous versions, it is now stepped up to being light strike and light strike pro. So a lot of light strike in the heel, and then more light strike pro in the forefoot. So when you're getting up through your midfoot, forefoot, pushing off, running at those quicker paces, it's going to feel kind of a little bit softer, but nice and propulsive when you're hitting your kind of race paces, or close to marathon pace at least. In terms of the stack height, this is 39.5 in the heel and 31 in the forefoot. So it's jumped up a lot from the Boston 9. That was 26 to 16 for a 10mm heel to toe drop. This obviously 8.5. So I think it's repositioned in the Adizero range quite a lot, because the Boston 9 and previous versions were a versatile shoe. They were one of the more cushion shoes in the Adizero range, but still quite close to the Adios. I found like the Adios 5 and the Boston 9 were quite similar. The main difference was just that little bit of extra cushioning, so you could take the Boston for a little bit more mileage and sort of easier runs. So I kind of, in the past, I used the Adios for a lot of mileage, like marathon training, but then because of the bit of extra cushioning, I started to opt for the Boston, and have really enjoyed that over the last few kind of months and years. So this one is then kind of shuffled up a bit closer, I think, to the Adios Pro. It's a shoe I think that you'll be able to do loads of long runs, loads of mileage, easy running in, because of all this cushioning with the light strike, but it still feels really responsive and is really nice when you lock into that marathon pace. So I'd say it's kind of a long run cruiser. A lot of people that preferred or enjoyed like the previous versions of the Boston might be a little bit upset that it's kind of changed, and does feel a little bit kind of firmer, heavier, more stable. But I found myself doing a lot of mileage in the Adios Pro last year, probably too much mileage. Really, it's a great shoe for kind of race day, pushing the paces in specific sessions and specific long runs. But if you do too much mileage in it, you're just going to wear it down quite quickly, and it'd be expensive to buy a pair every couple of months. So yeah, I think this is where this kind of jumps up there. Do a load of mileage in this, and then racing like the Adios Pro 2, potentially Prime X. By all means, people will be racing in this as well because of the cushioning. Half marathons and marathons, I think I'd probably look to more like the Adios 6, something lighter, more responsive potentially if you're doing more 5Ks, 10Ks. So yeah, really interesting to see how it's kind of changed a lot. But yeah, I think it's good kind of updates. In terms of the kind of outsole and other midsole components, this has energy rods in the forefoot. They're not the same as the energy rods in the Adios Pro. These are kind of like glass fiber energy rods. So they've been kind of tooled to give you that lightweight stiffness and giving you that kind of, yeah, energy return through the kind of midfoot, forefoot. So they're tuned for everyday training as opposed to kind of pushing the pace and racing, where the Adios Pro energy rods are kind of carbon infused. So yeah, interesting implementation of the energy rods in there. In terms of the grip, obviously loads of trusty Continental grip on the outsole. So again, really kind of sticky rubber. And again, the same chevron design that you kind of see in the Adios 6, just to give that extra bite. Yeah, I think that's obviously really good. And I did find them just, yeah, super smooth through transition. Like I say, I've kind of done 3 runs in them now. So I did one run, which was 25K, the first 5K easy, and then picking up the pace close to marathon pace for the last 20K. And then I did another run at about 15K, again, kind of cruising around steady to marathon pace. And then I did a 10K this morning, just at an easier pace. And again, they feel really stable. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of other shoes that have those super foams. They're not that durable, and they sometimes don't feel that stable when you're running at easier paces. They're very good at kind of holding race paces and doing sessions in, so they feel great to run in. But I think this is going to be a great kind of mileage shoe. Yeah, and looking forward to doing a lot more miles in it. And I think the more I run in it, I think this light strike's going to soften up a little bit in the heel. But I really like that feeling when you do kind of pick up the pace and move up through the gears, and then you are closer to marathon pace. When you're on this part where there's a little bit less light strike, but more light strike pro and the energy rods, it does feel really smooth, similar to like an Adios Pro, where you lock into a rhythm and your legs feel like they're kind of spinning around like you're in a kind of good sort of cycle. So yeah, I think it's a really good update. I guess it depends what sort of shoe you needed in your rotation. If you really enjoyed the previous Bostons, then it is going to be quite a difference going from that into this. It will take a few runs to get used to. But I kind of always think back to when I moved from running the Adios with the EVA midsole, the Adiprene midsole, then into Boost, and that took a little while to get used to. But yeah, I think it makes sense with these technologies and foams. Yeah, it gives you kind of a better ride, and it gives you a more kind of suitable intended use. I think because I've got the Adios 6 for my kind of 5K, 10K shorter efforts, this then kind of sits right in the middle for those longer, steadier runs, lots of marathon training, and then the Adios Pro, again, for hard efforts and race day. So yeah, I hope that kind of gives you a rough idea as to, yeah, where I see it sitting in the range and the technologies. I think, yeah, the Boston has been around for so many years, and it has been such a great shoe and quite versatile. I think it's now not maybe as versatile as it was in the past, but I think it sits at a good level and bridges that gap between like shoes like the Adios or Takumi Sen, and then shoes like the Adios Pro 2 and Prime X. So yeah, if you've got a pair of Boston 10 and you've been running in them, drop me a comment below, let me know how you found them. Like I say, some people love them, some people aren't liking them. I think it's going to take a little while to get used to. But yeah, for me, it's a big thumbs up. Yeah, if you have any races or anything coming up, I'd be interested to hear what your plans are. I haven't got too much in the calendar, potentially the London Marathon, but yeah, let's see how training goes over the next couple of months and see what we're able to do, how many races are able to go ahead. So yeah, good luck with your running.